I had a discussion with a fellow on Facebook, and his argument, his point was that here in America, my education, things that I was taught, everything that I know, I receive from white people, Caucasians, the enemy, my adversary. That everything they taught me a bunch of lies. And so, basically, that put me from his standpoint, as his point, at a disadvantage. And I strongly disagree. Because yes, they taught me English. They taught me math, and science, and history. Their history, mostly. And only concerning history, does he really have a strong, valid point? But my rebuttal to him was, okay, so what? So what they taught me all this stuff? What happens when I take the things that they have taught me and I venture off and I use everything that I've learned for my purposes? This brings to mind, to me, what happened with the 9/11 attacks and the hijackers of the airplanes and their whole, what do they call it? It's like cells. It's organized the way that they carry out their plans. It's like terror cells, where they branch off, and these, they kind of work isolated. These different cells. That's why they call it cells, because, although they are working in tandem, they work in isolation from one another, so that it makes it more difficult to tie them all together, because they really work in isolation, but they're working on a unified plan. Their purpose is the same, but they work in isolation. And so what happened was, basically, they entered into America, and they learned from Americans how to do certain things. They went to the schools. They learned how to fly planes. But they learned it for their own purpose, to carry out their own plans, okay? And I'm not saying that what they did was right or righteous, to then take it in order to kill people. But I'm saying that there's a lesson there. What I'm saying is there's a lesson there that I can relate to, which is this. My purpose I have known since before I could speak. When I got here, when I was born, before I was born, when I was still in the womb, I knew what I was coming down here to do. I have known. I spoke of it when I was still in elementary school. They started teaching me. The year has 365 days. I said, that's very odd. It should be 360. What am I talking about? I'm just a child. I'm in elementary school. I was like, how many degrees are in a circle? And I didn't even know. I got to ask the question. How many degrees in a circle? 360? So the year has 365 days. Seems like it should be 360 because you just told me we're moving around. Okay, and then it say, well, it's ellipse. I'm like, no, it still should be 360. What am I talking about? Like, what do I know about any history? This is what they're teaching me. But I'm like, no, I'm adamant about it. I'm like, no, it's 360 days. The reason I'm adamant about it is not because I've been doing scientific study and researching, but I know before I was born in this body, into this lifetime, I know that there's 360 days. Listen, I'm in elementary school. I'm like first, second grade. I'm arguing with them. I'm telling them, I don't care what you say. It's 360 days in a year. Well, if you go back in history, you will find that all the calendars used to have 360 days. I didn't know that at the time. I mean, it's not something I had studied or been taught. Nobody at home taught me that. They surely would have agreed with what they were saying in the school because that's what they were taught. But what I'm telling you is that the knowledge of my purpose and what's real I had before I was born into this world, and when I got here, it remained with me. I knew what I was here for. So no matter what they teach me or taught me, I'm just taking all that in, taking it all in, just taking it in. But the whole time I'm knowing what I'm here for, what reality is, what the truth is. I just let them teach me because everything they're teaching me, I'm going to use it to my advantage. I'm going to use it my way. It all serves me. In the same way that they went to the school to learn how to fly planes, yeah, I'll play along for a little while. I'll play along for a minute. This is all just strategy. It's all just strategy. Sometimes you got to play the long game. The long game. You're not immediate results. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time. I'm going to have to get some access. I have to find out and get close to my enemy, to my adversary. Let me get real close. Let me find out exactly how you operate, how you think. Let me get close to you. Sometimes you know, in the old times, you got to get close to your enemy in order to do some damage to them. Over time, as weapons develop, you could do damage from a greater distance. This makes me think about the story of Macbeth. Sometimes somebody got to get close to you. within an arm's length in order to do damage to you. So I come down to get a better understanding of these people that won't obey my laws. Let me get a better understanding. What is it so enticing about breaking my laws that they just, got to do this thing that really leads to death? Let me come find out. But in the end, those things, whatever they're teaching, the words, however they play around with words, all of that works to my advantage. I'm just going to use it for my purpose. It all serves me. It doesn't matter. Because this purpose that I knew about before I was even born, this didn't come from any external source. There's no one that had to teach me or drive me to believe the year's 360 days, or, there was no one at home, forcing me to believe certain things about what should be. It's come from an internal place. Came from a place of memory, of knowing some things to be true, even though I haven't learned those things yet. But I have memory because I was here before this lifetime. Speaking about this kind of thing, speaking about things that are true, is the type of thing that'll get you ostracized in this society, in this world. It'll get you some strange looks and some wary reactions. That's why the truth is something that doesn't really it's not prevalent in the world. People don't talk about their truth. You only talk about what's socially acceptable, what things that are just natural, what everybody can agree upon. But any kind of truth that might be unrelatable, personal, that type of thing, people don't talk about. Even if it is relatable on more than just a personable level. People still want to talk about it because certain things that are true are just not, you don't talk about it because it's too much, and people have been trained to stray away from the truth. Been programmed to fear it. Let's just talk about, topical things. Let's just talk about, what's the weather like today? What's going on with the football team and the basketball team? We can talk about that. We can't talk about no profound truths. Can't talk about that sort of thing. That's not that's too much. Let's just talk about the lighter things. superficial stuff. We talk about that kind of thing. When it comes to talking about some real truth, that's not, it's not everyday conversation. And it should be. It should definitely be everyday conversation. You should be talking about truth on the daily. And if you're not, then why? Why are you scared to talk about the truth? Even as a young kid, elementary school, I wasn't afraid to talk about the truth. I don't care what those adults say. I'm going to say what's true. And that's how children are. But somewhere along the line, you learn growing up, in the process of growing up, you grow out of being able to speak about the truth. You learn to be socialized. You learn to be acceptable. You learn to fit in. You learn not to stand out. And so everybody becomes well adjusted to a maladjusted type of society. What I'm saying is everybody learns to fit in and adjust to something that you shouldn't be adjusting to. You should be adjusting that thing. That thing should be conforming to what's good and true and righteous, not the other way around. Everybody wants to force themselves to fold and fit into a society that's perverse. And that promotes things that are perverse. A man turns himself to a woman and the world applauds. Oh, how brave. Yeah, indeed. It is brave. Very brave. Because it's going to lead to damnation. It's going to lead to a place called hell, which is real. And that's how perverse the society has become. Man, so-called, turns himself into a woman, which is a thing that can't be done. And they say that's the woman of the year. No, it's still a man. But in a society where you can't talk about the truth, lies become your so-called truth. Lies become what you accept because you can't accept the truth. And so you'll be walking around in a world where you don't know the difference between a man and a woman. You don't know the truth about the seasons, when they start, in time. Because you can't accept the truth. You can only accept lies. You can't accept the truth about what is good. Because what's good to you has nothing to do with the truth. It's only about what you feel. never acknowledging that what you feel can be wrong. Your feelings have a place, but you have a mind, you have a conscience, intelligence, and you should have an ability to discern so that you can check and say, hey, I'm feeling this thing, but you know what? That's not right. So you can bring yourself into alignment with what is right. Yeah. And that's the reality of this day. But all of those things are going to be corrected. They're going to be handled. They're going to be dealt with. I'm going to use everything at my disposal. And I have a lot at my disposal to make sure that it is thoroughly done. And it will be done. I am Yahuwah.